Now, compressing that golf ball at impact is something I used to always struggle with, and I used to do this classic drill all the time. Just this alignment stick going up the shaft, really popular one to get a bit of shaft lean. I'll do this all day long on the range to no avail. I still could not compress the golf ball, even when doing a classic compression drill. Now, does that sound familiar? And the reason why that didn't help, because there was things in my golf swing that stopped me from compressing the golf ball. So no amount of shaft lean drills would help me and wouldn't help you either. So in this video, what we're talking about is how my right arm in the downswing stopped me from being able to compress the golf ball. As soon as I made a little tweak, I could then compress the golf ball, absolutely no problem. Now, the crazy thing as well was the change and the difference was so small. And I see this with pretty much every golfer who struggles to compress the golf ball. It's going to be absolutely great for you. So before, at about shaft parallel to the ground in the downswing, I was here. Had a little gap between my right arm and my body. So common. And then when I was compressing it, no problem, I was here. Right arm was more connected to my side, more driven in. Now, when that right arm was away from me, so I had this big gap, I couldn't create shaft lean from there, because if I just try to rotate into the golf ball, which creates shaft lean, the club's just going to reach the ground. So you're generally not going to do that. What the body would do from there is going, oh God, I've got to get these arms sped up because that right arm is way too far away from the target. It'll throw the hands and then it will early release it going through there just to speed that club up to hit that golf ball. So that's where no matter the amount of drills, like say with the classic stick drill, getting that in front won't do anything. That's where you need to work on the root cause, like I did there with my right arm. And when I got that right arm more driven in there, then all I need to do from this position here, turn. Look at that. Nice shaft lean. That's going to compress the hell out of the golf ball. Nicely ahead there with my lower body and upper body to create that good downward hit. Just creates so much more compression. Hear that? Without even trying. So a very small tweak, yes, but so important. Look at these top players here. They all have that right arm nicely driven into the side. So see the best ball strikers in the world do it? You can all do it too. It's not just exclusive for those guys. So, okay, how did I go about getting there? So the reason why my right arm was away from me and I had to throw it was because ultimately, as I started my downswing, my right elbow would slightly point behind me. So ultimately the gap between my arms would get larger, it would get greater. So the technical term of this was I was going into internal shoulder rotation in the downswing. Again, I think pretty much 99% of amateur golfers do this, where that elbow starts to slightly point behind. So it's like they're winning an arm wrestling match. We don't want to be winning no arm wrestling matches with the golf swing. So that got that elbow pointed behind, gap between my arms increased, and from the front on view, that has that visual of the right arm getting real behind. So even though I was saying having that right arm driven in, I wasn't actually trying to do that even remotely. I was just trying to keep the gap between my two arms small. Because if I could keep the gap between my two arms, or more accurately, between my two elbows, nice and small, look at that. See how that right arm has just gone to that side immediately. And we see, again, so many top players with that right arm, with that elbow pointing in. It's the thing that Hogan used to talk about a lot as well. So we're going to get into the drill that I did for this, which is going to be really good for all of you. And a little drill that I actually stumbled across a couple of weeks ago, where if I was to go back in time, I would 100% do this drill because it gets you doing it. So elbows staying close to each other. Oh, hear that? Creates good compression. Now, how I fixed it was with a ball training aid. So it's actually before this specific one was invented, but I used quite an older version, as this was a long time ago. And ultimately, what a ball training aid does, again, this one's absolutely brilliant, the JChownGolf connector. It maintains the space between your arms. So you cannot then go and make that gap bigger, because what happens? The ball drops. So what you need to do here, that was not a smart idea dropping that then. It's got loads of water on it. I'm wearing a white sweater, not the best thing. But absolutely, if you want to hit a ball successfully there, you have got to keep this ball in between your arms. Which, what does that do? That keeps that space, that drives that arm in. Boom, straight away. And this is such a good type of training aid as well, especially this one. the JChownGolf connector. I love the little rods coming out of it. Really helps you for one, visualizing that swing arc with those rods that go around your arms. You can see what the takeaway quality is if you have a rolly takeaway. This little white bit here with the little rod that goes in front starts to point behind. You'd want it pointing more in front. Again, a little bit of a side tangent there, but really good in for that. But ultimately, this gives us feedback. And I used to do so many reps with a ball training aid in my arms for multiple reasons. But more than anything, it helped me drive that right arm in more, get it to my side, so then I could just turn through that golf ball. So I'd recommend to do so many reps with this. Again, literally every golfer out there does this fault to some degree. If a golfer doesn't do this, again, you're not going to be watching these videos about struggling to compress the golf ball because you're already going to be compressing it. So that's where this training aid would be brilliant for everyone there. It's actually a link in the description to pick one of these up as well for a good discount. But this will get you into that nice position automatically. And again, if you struggle maybe with a little bit of a chicken wing going through the golf ball, again, what's this going to do? It's going to help you with that. Again, that's going to help as well for your journey to getting more compressed, straighter shots. Ball training aid is absolutely essential to be able to work on this. And a good thing to feel whilst you've got a ball in between your arms there is as you're moving down, feel like you're squeezing the ball into your left arm with your right elbow. Again, what's that going to be doing? That's going to be closing in the gap. And why that's a really good thing for you to feel as well, because when you take the ball out of the way, you can then have something, a tangible feeling to go into shots without a golf ball. Feel like you're still squeezing a ball in between your arms, which is getting you that right arm getting a little bit more driven into the pivot. Look what's happened to the club shaft as well. Shallowing out. So important to be able to turn, and turning is so important to be able to compress it. So again, feel like you've still got a ball in between your arms and you're squeezing it. And this drill that I'm going to tell you after this is really, really cool. So let's get straight to it. Oh, makes you compress it all the time. So this drill here is the cross-handed drill. So for me, right-handed golfer, normally my right hand is lower than my left, of course. But for this drill, flip it around to where your left hand is low. So like a left hand low putting grip, but do it, gripping it normally. So, okay, left hand low. This will immediately make the right arm tighter to the side and will really be hard for you to get it moving away, almost impossible, because then as you move up, you get a great position at the top in regards to your right arm. The right elbow is pointing down. The space between the arms is very minimal and it drives in nicely. So you can see there, look at that, that really gives you the sensation. So I'm not brave enough to hit balls with that, and I wouldn't think many people would be as well. So you don't need to hit balls with it, just do some practice swings to feel that sensation. You feel a little whip as well. It's a very different feel, but it's great for working on right arm mechanics. That right arm will really drive in. You can't have it moving away. It's impossible doing it. So it's getting you doing the feel nicely. So once you've done a bunch of those, grip it normal. Feel that same sensation. Do a couple of practice swings. Wow, I tell you what, you really do feel it straight away afterwards. So then take advantage of that. Hit some balls. That was nice. So you can imagine, I could easily come up with a little structure, practice structure to do for that. If I grab myself 3 balls and I do 3 to 5 practice swings, left hand low, then let's do 2 just for the video's sake. And then I go into these 3 balls. I'm going to feel that sensation with the right arm straight away after that. So I'm going to feel that right arm driving in, feel the gap and the space between the arms being quite minimal. That's going to get me in that real taut position of that right arm being nicely to the side at shaft parallel, the delivery zone. If I do 3 balls, those 3 balls, that feel is still going to be very distinct. Then once I've done my 3rd ball, I will go dead straight back to doing that exact same left hand low and repeat that process. Why I would hit 3 balls is because when we do the 4th one, the feel is pretty much gone. You want the feel to be very distinct and very much still in the forefront of your brain to be able to nice and effectively get in there. If you can then do that with, let's say, some training aid shots with the ball training aid to keep that space nice and small, to drive that right arm and keep it nicely in there, keep that space minimal, I'll tell you what, you're going to come out of that compressing the golf ball really well. just like I did. So this is one of the many things that I worked on to be able to compress the ball. My trail hand mechanics were really good in there. There's a video that I'm going to put up here exactly for that. So have a good watch of that, of how, again, that really helped me to be able to compress the golf ball. And again, absolutely, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.